prescription drug use is off the charts, bonkers right now. 70% of Americans are on prescription drugs. Let's look at some numbers. Okay, 70%, as I said, are on at least one, so many of them are on more than that, and you know you have to take your Abilify to supplement your Wellibutrin and blah, blah, blah. That's a 50% increase from 2007 to 2010, so it's probably higher than that right now. 50% of Americans are on at least 2 prescription drugs, and 20% of Americans are on 5 or more prescription drugs. 20% are on 5 or more prescription drugs. I'm not going to ask either one of you specifically how many prescription drugs you are taking. These numbers seem horrific to me. Like, this is maybe a bigger problem that we have in America than anything else at the moment.
And to me, it's so obvious where it's coming from. It's the commercialization of it. I mean, there really wasn't a way. They finally figured out how to put them on television with the smiley faces and the dogs jumping and the happiness. And people are like, ooh, great. The requests, people are going into their doctors saying, hey, I saw a commercial for this. I would like it, please.
Right, there was a little cloud cartoon chasing me.
Yes, and I see the cloud. I have the cloud. It makes no, that's, and they, I think it's so funny that they don't air those commercials on radio. There's no drug commercials on radio because they don't work. Because there are no happy faces.
That's an interesting point. So if you're in your car listening to it, you're still seeing trees or people, so your brain, but if you see a depressing cloud.
Right. Oh,
scary. I never thought of that.
Creepy.
What do you think of it?
I think a lot has to do with that. I also think in the study it says that a lot of them are antidepressants, and I think the economy had a huge hand in that. People lost their homes, people lost their jobs, people lost their lifestyle, they lost their nest egg, their retirement. So even ordinary people that maybe would not have been depressed or don't have depression in their family or whatever it is are now finding themselves down in the dumps because of, you know, what has happened.
But isn't that just part of life? That 10 years ago or 20 years ago, certainly, that was just part of life. And now because of the marketing machine, it's like, oh, I'm a little depressed, like I lost my job, I need a pill.
It's more socially acceptable now. I think before being depressed was like, you know, everyone was quiet and didn't want to admit it, and it was like this stigma that was on it. And I think now people are like, hey, I need help, I need some, you know, whatever. Or we're in the society of the internet where we want immediate gratification. We're like, push button, get a result, you know? So I think instead of, like you said, like just getting over it or maybe doing some meditation or some therapy, people are like, give me a pill, give me a pill. What's gonna fix it? I don't wanna go, you know, people know how to lose weight. They know how to work out. They know what they should and shouldn't be eating. You don't need a book to tell you that, you know, 6 pieces of cake before you go to sleep is probably not a good idea. But either way, they want, you heard it here first. Either way, they want a pill that's going, you know, quick trim or whatever it is that's going to fix them right away. So I think it's the same thing. And I think, you know, with the internet, they're going on there and they're not only seeing these commercials, but I mean, I diagnose myself all the time. I'm on WebMD. I'm like, I have a sneezy, you know, cough
it's a tumor.
Right, exactly. And you wait for the word cancer to come up. You're like, oh, sweet.
Every time I go on WebMD, it makes me think of that episode of The Simpsons when Mr. Burns goes to the clinic and they tell him that he has absolutely every disease known to man, but they're in perfect balance so that he can't get sick. And that's what I feel like when I'm on there. I'm like, I have everything.
Right.
Hysterical pregnancy, everything.
Exactly.
Do you guys think that that in these commercials, because I do think that's the root of this whole thing, that they should have to show you the side effects, not just list them, because literally about 40% of the commercials just saying diarrhea, nausea, possible suicide, death, blah, blah. But they never show that. Instead, it's a guy in a field and he's running and someone has their kids and he's doing all this amazing stuff. But if they actually showed you puking on the toilet and having hanging yourself and maybe jumping over, do you think that might?
Let's shoot that commercial. Let's do that.
Yeah, Funny or Die, people. You can have that idea for free.
Yes, absolutely. Because they're saying may cause prostate cancer as the man is smiling and lovingly at his spouse. Like, give me a break.
Sexual dysfunction. Like, you won't be able to get, these people, they take Viagra to get a boner, then they get depressed, now they can't get a boner, then they take Cialis because they need a longer boner.
Now the cream, the testosterone cream, where if you accidentally touch your wife and with the cream on your hands, she will grow a beard, so call your doctor.
Or Propecia, the one that'll put hair on your head, but if your wife touches it, it'll kill the unborn baby. I mean,
incidentally, this is why people are on 5 or more prescription drugs, is because they take one, and the side effects of this one, they need 3 others, and the side effects of those, they need, you know, and it's a never-ending train.
You know what I was thinking, sidebar to this, so I was, I don't really like to fly, and I went to a psychiatrist to get Xanax to fly, and that was all I wanted. He told me that I have time shift disorder.
What?
and that there was a
Okay.
new pill that he wanted me
What
to
is-
take, and I kept saying to him, I swear to God this is true, and I kept saying to him, no, I just want Xanax, I just want to be able to pass out on the plane, that's it. He literally would not let me leave without a prescription for it, so I took the prescription, which I proceeded to throw away. But even his tape dispenser on his desk it had some, it wasn't Zoloft, but it was something.
Right.
And I was thinking, I've bought weed in my day. I'm going to whisper this. I bought weed. And the weed dealer has never been like, hey,
it like
you want
that.
Listen,
crack
weed
too?
is- right.
You
Yes.
want some crack too? No,
Yes.
the weed dealer's like, all right, I'll sell you some weed.
Yeah.
So doesn't that show you that the system is
the
just...
drug corporations and the doctors who are. I mean, it's
payouts and the
it's
perks.
a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. And what is time shift disorder?
Time
Like,
shift
what is
disorder.
that?
Yeah.
There's. Oh God, I don't. Yeah.
You think
no.
Back to the Future, they would have mentioned it. I mean, it's insane.
Right, if he
If
could-
that was a real thing.
If he could get back to 1985,
Right.
yeah.
Or-
He's
Yeah.
fine. No, exactly. I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, look, doctors it's a business at the end of the day. Yes, they want to help you. Yes, hopefully they're there for the right reasons, other than, their Bentley. But when it comes down to it, they are a freelance person. They work for themselves. And these drug companies are making
Yeah.
a ton of money. And they
Yeah.
are giving them incentives, whether it be perks, gifts, money, checks, kickbacks, whatever it is. So obviously that doctor was getting something for, for giving you that and making you go out and get that medication. I don't think he genuinely thought you needed it, because you would have just said, look,
Time shifted. That's not
Right.
a disorder. That's
No.
a made-up imaginary
Yeah,
thing.
I love
Time
that.
shift
I love
disorder.
that.
All right. Well, I hope that we've inspired you a little bit and not depressed you to have to go take the pills you're on or go get a whole set of new ones. I want to thank Jackie Geary, fake Jackie Geary on the Twitter, and Vanessa Gomez. That's Vanessa M. Gomez on Twitter. And July 4th, so get out there and have some fun and get away from your computer for a little bit and see what happens. Okay.